a lot, he'll keep you on your toes. It's the Eric Miranda Show. When he drank a lot, he would fight a lot. He might punch you in your nose. It's the Eric Miranda Show. There are people who would tell you he is crazy, but if you listen closely, he's unbelievable. He used to drink a lot, now he talks a lot. He'll keep you on your toes. It's the Eric Miranda, Eric Miranda, Eric Miranda Show.
Good evening, and welcome to the Eric Miranda Show. I'm your host, Eric Miranda. How's it going? So first of all, I want to talk about a lot of things. I put up a video of a SpaceX launch, and I guys, look. When I say, "Hey, how come you can't hear this thing? And how come the tail is illuminated?" No offense, but people send me like Elon Musk's official press release. Now, I'm not suspicious of Elon necessarily. I mean, his name is Elon. As a friend of mine said, how come his name is never like, Jason from Wyoming? It's Elon from, South Africa, whatever. But I mean, Elon Musk, it sounds like a character from Star Wars, doesn't it? Like, did he eat his twin brother or something? Like, all I'm saying is I don't know what the deal is with Elon Musk. I know that the Obama administration helped him, and I think his brother, Tom, like Jason Musk, kidding. They like all the people on the left helped him build his business, and he was the darling. And then all of a sudden, he's like this monster right winger because he believes in free speech. Now, I'm not saying that can happen. I've actually seen that happen with a lot of my friends. I have two people in my life who lived in Portland, and after being in Portland during the George Floyd riots and that the lockdowns, they're like right wingers now. It's crazy. Just want to let you all know that I've been using like just a very light filter, and I'm starting to buy it. Like I look in the mirror, I'm like, wait, what happened to my skin? I'm like, oh, I don't have the filter on. But anyway, but like all I'm asking about George Floyd, Elon Musk is, okay, so is he real? Is he a psyop? What I was looking at the other night on the when that spaceship took off, I mean, I wasn't close to it, but I wasn't far away from it, and it wasn't that high up. That thing was not that high up. Because I've seen airplanes that big, and that thing's bigger than an airplane, but I've seen airplanes that big. They're not high. You hear them. They're at 30,000 feet. That thing should have been heard. It almost seemed like, and I'm not saying this is what it was. And again, I'm not saying that there's anything sinister afoot, but I'm telling you, I kind of got the impression that it seemed like what do you call it? Oh, yes. Thanks, Tom. It is my birthday today, by the way. And that's why we're going to talk about me and not the presidential debate. It looked like it was projected onto a screen. Like I swear to God, like it looked so unreal. And I was in the desert in California. Somebody said I should have called them in Arizona. I wasn't in Arizona. I was in California, Southern California. But that tail looked like it was glowing, and it was silent, and it was creepy. So I went and I watched the Hunger Games on the way home, on a flight home. And because if you remember in the second Hunger Games, the end of the second Hunger Games, Katniss, right? The lightning's going to hit the tree, and Katniss does the and hits the thing, and the whole, and it seemed very Truman Showish, is what I'm trying to say. Speaking of the Hunger Games, I read those books. I was part of not a book club, but like a little coffee clutch, all girls and me, when that book came out. And I read the Hunger Games, and it was well written. It was I forgot the name of the woman who wrote it, but her writing was really Orwellian. It was like a clean, simple kind of writing. Thanks, Felice Berman. Felice just said happy birthday to me. Yeah, so today it's my birthday. Everyone, it's my birthday and I'll cry if I want to. 59 years old. And I intentionally didn't do a big deal of this birthday. I had sushi with Sheila and Marcus. because now I'm going to count down for the next 365 days. I'm counting down. I'm doing jujitsu. I'm going to be posting it. I'm eating like a pig. I'm walking. I'm walking about 100,000 steps between Monday and Friday. That's not even counting the weekends. I'm part of a step group, and it's like most of them are like septuagenarians, older ladies. And I see them gaining on me on the app. And I'm like, no way, man. No way. Like, I am not going to be undone by 75-year-old women. I'm sorry. Can't let it happen. So I'm going to be doing jujitsu, Muay Thai, a little bit of paddleball, running, walking, and eating. So I want to know, and I want comments on this. In 2 weeks, I'm going to be in Wisconsin for 2 weeks. I'm going to do the show. Next week, I'm going to do it in the morning because it's 4th of July. Yes, my birthday has always been a week before the 4th of July. And I think my daughter's mother is the week after. So she has daddy's birthday, 4th of July, mommy's birthday. But does anyone want to see me eat a large New York Sicilian pie on the show? I'm talking 12 giant slices. It's about 4,000 calories. Anyone think I can do it? Come on. I need the challenge. I need somebody to say you can't do it, or I need someone to say you can do it. I need someone to say do it. I may raise money. Do it, right? Right. I think you can click like a coin. Yes, Presley. I got Tom. And normally, by the way, the reason I'm taking comments today, guys, I love you all, and I love when you make comments. It's not that I don't want to talk to you all, but what happens is people complain like, Eric, you're in the, like, I blamed a lot of my distraction on Jesse and Dave Lanici and Elliot and Wifey. Like I can't keep much. It's you guys. Lori Montenegro just said, all right. So Lorraine Sanders said, I won't do it. Okay. So guys, now I'm talking actually, it's going to be 3 weeks from today. And I'm making a vow now, and I'm going to post it as such. 3 weeks from today, I am going to get now look, Joe's Pizza on 7 Carmine Street is my favorite pizza. And wait, can I do 8? This is the problem. If I get it right over here from Salvatore's of Soho here in the Bronx, in Riverdale, it's amazing. It's 12 slices. The problem is Joe's. What's up, Brent? What's happening? Joe's Pizza is my favorite. Guys, is 8, is a smaller pie, Sicilian pie, sufficient, or does it have to be the 12? I'm going with you guys. If you guys are going to think I'm a wimp if I only do the 8 slice, then I'm going to do the 12 slice. But it's maybe I'll get this is what I'll do. Maybe I'll get Joe's Pizza. I'll get the 8 slice Sicilian and 4 extra slices. Is that the way to do it? Now I'm going to start raising money for this. I'm going to get, now what charity should I give money to? If I eat a whole Sicilian pie and you guys help me raise a couple $100, who am I giving the money to? That's the question. Any comments? Everybody was silent. Everybody's afraid. All right. It's going to be 12 slices. Okay. And they're about 400. So that's like 4,800 calories, folks. That's like, for me, that's a little bit more than 2 days calories. Donate to the Tom Galvin charity. Yeah, of course. Well, I was going to set up a charity called Poor Eric and do that. No, but for real, I'm trying to think of, look, you all know I have a freaky eating disorder, right? Like sometimes I'm fat, sometimes I'm skinny. I work out too much. I don't think like OA and like the 12-step programs, I don't think they do. I mean, I guess I can make contributions to them, but that's not what I want to do. Like, is there like a charity? If anybody knows of a charity that's helping children understand nutrition better, we'll give them the money, but we won't tell them how I raise the money. Because they'll be like, what? All right. So getting back to this thing so I put up the rocket ship and I said, hey, why is this weird stuff? And not one person, a couple of people like, what's going on? I think Brent, who just said happy birthday, was just like, yeah, we don't know shit. Weird things happen in the desert. But this is the real deal here. I am amazed, not that people question that people, I'm amazed that people send me the official like press release. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it would be like saying, it would be like saying something about Trump or Biden and the RNC says, no, that's because it's like, I want to know not what I want to know what people think. And guys, this whole thing with the debate tonight, I don't even know what to think about the debate. I'm probably not watching it, not because I'm not interested, but I'm not interested in, like, it's just such a setup, right? It's like ridiculous. Like, the thing that would make me happy is if, like, Donald Trump said, "Hey, I created that vaccine. Where's your mask?" And Joe Biden took his diaper off and put it on his face. And then Donald Trump, like, they take his gun away because he's carrying it, and now he's a convicted felon or something. Like, I mean, if something, I almost spit on myself. Sorry. I can't, like, anyway. So if something like that was going to happen, but it's just going to be like, "Rah, rah, rah," and they're going to mute the button. Like, who's got time for that? So, but I'll tell you what, when it came to the vaccine, I said to my kid's pediatrician, I said, "Yeah, well, how do I know this vaccine's safe?" And the pediatrician handed me a Pfizer glossy. I was like, "What?" Like, I literally, it was like, "That's Lorraine, that's 2 weeks calories for you." No, that 4,800. So I eat approximately 1,800 calories a day. So it's 2.5 days for me. But then there are days like, um, we're talking about the pizza again being like 4,800 calories for 12 slices. I did, like, when I fly, by the way, when I fly, I'm the craziest. And I want to tell you guys a story. So I'm flying on Delta, and I was starving because the day before I ate like 900 calories and walked like 10 miles. Guys, I was getting up every day in the desert and walking because I'm in the walk group with the old ladies. I'm like, they're not letting me. They're not beating me. And I was walking in like 110 degrees. I love it. I love the heat. I love the heat. I hate New York winters. I hate it. And so when I'm hot, I'm always like, yeah, I'm hot. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But I'm on the flight. Now, just so if you guys go through my Facebook page, you'll see Marty Gould Cummings on my page. Marty is the drag queen who was singing Baby Shark to the kids. Now, I played Till There Was You when Marty and Blake got married. They're divorced now. He's a friend of mine. They. I haven't spoken to Marty in about the topic of pronouns, but Marty has been to my home many times. I'm a musical director for drag queens, and if you all look on my Facebook page, you'll also see me playing Crazy Train with Marty and a bunch of people in drag. So I'm just saying that up front. I'm with a lot of my Long Island friends on, like, hey, stop telling me what I have to call people. So I'm into First Amendment stuff. So that's my dilemma. Like, I'm a compassionate guy. I don't want to offend people if I don't have to. But I also, respect people's right to be like, hey, man, my daughter's playing volleyball, and, a guy who identifies as a girl knocked her in the head. But I was on the flight, and these two flight attendants, one of them trans and the other one very effeminate, they were like plying me with like almonds, sun chips, the Delta cookies. Those Delta cookies are awesome. And because I was starving, and they were awesome. And then I said, I went back to the bathroom, and I pulled the curtain in the back, and I said, I just want to let you dudes know that you're awesome. And I realized I may have misgendered them. And I was like, and I froze. Like, I didn't know what to say. And I was like, wow. And the trans they was like, what did they say? They said, look at me trying to get my pronouns right. They said, "Oh, you're super fine." And I was like, all right, cool. I got to have it, because I was trying to be on board, man. I'm like this old scaly guy. By the way, yes, I'm still using the filter. I'm starting to buy the filter. I look at photos. I'm like, hey, what happened? I'm like, oh, you're not using the Madonna filter. So that was my trans. Thank you, Donna Quinta Wentz. All right, so in 2 weeks, 3 weeks from tonight, when I'm back in New York, I am going to eat a whole Sicilian pie. Now, does anybody what should I eat in Wisconsin? I'll eat something in Wisconsin. What would you eat? I mean, I know they're big on cheese. What do we eat in Wisconsin that's going to be I'm going to think of something. Maybe I'll eat like a Wisconsin ice cream. We're going to be in Powers Lake near Lake Geneva, and there's a couple of places that make fresh ice cream. Is a half gallon of ice cream? If I were going to challenge myself, like the pizza, what would be a sufficient amount of pizza to impress y'all? Like, if I were going to eat ice cream, instead of pizza, what would ice cream be? What should I eat in ice cream? Any? No? Everybody silent on me again? I think we're on a lag. All right, so I don't want to talk about the debate. I do want to talk about that rocket, but there's nothing to say. I asked questions and I got official reports from my friends. Like, you guys are working for the government. I just read this book. I mentioned it a few weeks ago. It's by Amanda Montel, and it's called Cultish, and it's about the language of cults. Fish fry. Oh, fish fry. I have a feeling the person who just wrote that's from the Midwest. Do you know a particular place where we're going to eat the fish fry, Slow 205? Because if I have your email address correct, you're driving. So the fish fry, now, this is why the comments, this is the problem with the comments. So Bill Houlihan saw that rocket off Florida while towing offshore. So guys, the rocket, there's something sinister afoot. There has to be. I don't know why. Okay, I have to eat. Somebody just said I have to eat 3 times the ice cream a woman does when she menses. I don't know how much ice cream that is, but I can out eat ice cream. Guys, ice cream and Sicilian pizza are my 2 favorite things in the world. I had sushi today. Sushi and watermelon are actually up there, but they're just not as decadent. You know what I mean? Like, if you I'm going to tell you a great story. I'm going to use a Chinese accent. Please forgive me, but I have to make this story the way it was. I went into a Chinese restaurant, right? Now, my daughters have Chinese, my sons have Korean. So I kind of feel like I have a little bit of a right to tell these kind of jokes. It's a true story though. I went into a sushi restaurant in Lancaster, PA, and it was run by Chinese, not Japanese. And I said, I'd like the lunch platter. And the woman said, lunch platter, 7 rolls. I said, I know. And she said, each roll 6 piece. I said, I know. And she said, you can't eat 6 rolls, 7 rolls, 6 piece. I said, I do it all the time. And she goes, oh, no wonder why you're so fat. I was like, which one is it, lady? Am I able to or not able to? So, I saw all my woke friends just click off because I made a Chinese joke. Speaking of Chinese jokes, I read a study years ago, and the study was Black high school students are more racist against Chinese than white students are. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, they paid for that study? Black kids are funny. They're just being funny. That's not racism because they were talking about all the jokes. But then I came across a study that I read at the same time. I just read a study today from 2014, and I remember this study. I'm going to pull it up. The study is, how do I share my screen here? I don't have my producer. My producer's in the other room. Hang on. Where are we? Share screen. Bear with me, folks. Bear with me. Okay, present. Share screen. Research, man, a worm, drinking beer. Here we go. Okay. This says, and I'm gonna read it from my screen, not the screen that you're looking at. Would-be daddies should hit the bottle immediately. Beer guzzling guys can increase their chances of becoming a father if they drink a few beers each day, a new study shows. Guys, that's called being drunk. I mean, no offense to anyone, but if you stay in the pub long enough and drink enough beer, the prospects you're willing to procreate with increases. I'm sure it's the same for women as well. I bet you who paid for this study? It's like drunk dudes are more likely to conceive, not because of the yeast in beer, but because their pool of who they're going to, and sometimes it's not even that the women get more attractive. Sometimes they just get beer muscles and are more bold. So I don't think it's the beer. I think it's the drunkenness. And here's my proof. You ready? It goes on to say, but while the booze help men get their gals pregnant, downing a few cups of coffee each day cut the guy's chances of making a baby, according to the study done by Massachusetts General Hospital. That's called sobering up. Come on, guys. Are we going to be honest about this? If I drink beer, hey, baby, like I may be a shy guy. I'm not a shy guy. Maybe, look, guys, I think I started snorting cocaine to get laid once. I mean, I'm kidding, but like when you're like 18 and you're clubbing and stuff, you'll do anything, right? And if you need to loosen up because the gals are drinking, I know I'm going to get in trouble because wife's watching this, but hello, Larissa. Thank you. It's, I just don't think, who pays for these studies? Now, the other one, my favorite one was at the same time. Again, these 3 studies are all from the same period, but this one on the beer drinking was republished. The thing that really, the study that really got me was it says they studied earthworms. And earthworms, male earthworms, I didn't know they had genders. They will forego food in pursuit of sex. Can somebody just give me all this study money? They'll just be like, Eric, here's like 150 grand. What do you think? Because none of these studies are surprising. If you said to me, the Dr. Joe Heineken study, exactly, it's the James Budweiser study. If you guys said to me, Eric, does drinking beer make you more likely to procreate? I'd be like, of course it does. Your pool of who you'll have sex with gets bigger for men and women both. Does coffee make it go down? Of course, man. What did I do? Right? Oh man, that was a close one, right? Like, God, I can't even tell the stories that I know from my friends on here, but like, men are dirtbags, and not some of them, all of them. Even like my brothers, who I respect, they got to be dirtbags. They probably just want to protect me, so they give me some moral code or something. But men are dirtbags. I can tell you stories from the most mild-mannered, conservative, decent men you know. Women, I'd break your heart if I told you. So you take a creature that's inherently a dirtbag. Can you imagine if I get canceled for attacking men? Now that would be fun. But if you take a creature like a man or an earthworm, guys, I think a man would like crawl through the desert without food in pursuit of the right woman. You add a little beer to that, he'll crawl through the desert in pursuit of a woman who's not even that woman, just some chick. You give a dirtbag like a man a little bit of booze to loosen him up, and it's all bets off. Men, I'm not saying all men cheat because I don't believe that. We know the rules and we play by the rules. But we're all dirtbags at heart. Come on, let's just be honest. Am I in trouble? I'm getting comments from wife. I'm in trouble. I think I'm in trouble. Marcus, you think I'm in trouble? Yeah. So my son said that he just got to the microphone before the show came on. He decided he was going to host the show, and then he chickened out. I never decided that. Okay. So anyway, all right. So now this is another thing, right? So when we get back to the official reports from Elon Musk, does anybody have an opinion on what's really, are those rockets real? Like, are those rockets real? I mean, we've seen them where do they go? And my question is this: now I'm not a flat earther, but I have questions. Definitely have questions about the moon landing. You all know that. And that's another thing, by the way. One of my friends, I put up a thing about the moon landing on my Facebook page, and my friends went zing, 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 zing. High school friends, new friends, old friends, East Village friends, and it became a frenzy. And everybody was like kind of going this thing. And somebody said, who took the picture of the lunar module leaving the moon? And then he answered himself and said the same person who took it landing. And then another person went into NASA's official report on how that photo came to be. The idea of a video, if you all go look at the video of the lunar module leaving, I guess it was Apollo 11, leaving the moon, I showed it to my children and they laughed. Thanks, Charles. By the way, Charles Kenny and I, we were going to hit it up in San Diego. I had one window of opportunity and we're doing it through, I guess eventually we were text messaging on phone, but we started off on Facebook and it just got weird and we missed, but we're going to do it the next time for sure. No, Lorraine, I know that we launched those rockets. I know rockets are real. I mean, I saw something. What are we up to? You remember when we had all of those, for sure. Remember we had all those, we had these like floating barges in San Francisco Bay, and I think Tesla owned them, and nobody knew what they were. And people were like, what is that? And they're like, well, go in and find it. And they're like, no. The government's like, we can't. Why not? You're the government. What's going on? What are they preparing us for? Guys, we have robots. That Tesla commercial where the Cybertruck pulls up and the AI dudes shoot it to pieces, but they can't get what? Look, the reason the Romans and the Moors and the Egyptians and the English, the reason these empires fall eventually is it's usually internal. They usually collapse from within, right? Like people just get fed up with the control structure and they go against it. But once they have a cyber bot for each one of us that says, no, we're in trouble, man. Like, is there going to be, is Elon launching the garbage barges into space? Now, that's a good question. Somebody just asked, is Elon launching the garbage barges into space? Wouldn't that be great or not? Right? Like we look at plastic in the ocean. We're like, this is disgusting. By the way, I only heard of one turtle actually getting the straw up his nose, and he was a fucking coke. Can you imagine? Hey man, I'm a turtle. I'm just tired of being slow. He starts to snort. Sorry. Fucking turtle starts snorting cocaine because he was tired of being slow. Oh my God, I'm dying. And can you imagine, like, they found the turtle straw, but with the straw up his nose, they never found the hooker's backside. Oh, I'm dying. I know I'm not supposed to laugh at my own jokes, but I didn't see that one coming. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah. So, the Dukes were the only empire. Yeah, exactly. I was in the Dukes for like 15 minutes. That's a long story. But somebody just snorted. I'm happy somebody snorted. She snorted, exactly. That, just like the turtle. But so the thing is, so with the plastic in the oceans, right? Like we're like, yeah, that's no good because the ocean, as vast as it seems, it's limited. And they're saying there was like a 10-mile blob of plastic. Like, I guess because of the weight and buoyancy of it buoyancy. I listened to Tim Dillon's podcast, and he said something like, what did he say? He goes, foraging in the thicket. I'm like, I don't know if I could have come up with it like that. Foraging in the thicket. So cool sounding. But anyway, so buoyancy. So my word today is buoyancy. I came up with that one. So maybe the weight and the buoyancy and the whatever, the plastic ends up in the same place. But it's disgusting to know that a 10-mile island of plastic is floating in our precious oceans. But with the thing with shooting it into space is, if space is infinite, and I had a physicist on a couple of weeks ago, the great Gethin Jones. Every time I say his name, I think of that thing. About that Deacon Jones, got so I had to take him home. Bound on rock in the midnight. Was that the Honey Drippers? Anyway, but he claims that, people think the universe is infinite, and as preposterous as that seems, well, what would be after it, right? President Snow, Hunger Games. No, so I don't know how space would end, but then again, there's a lot of things I don't know. But if space is infinite, perhaps we could send crap. Somebody just said space will become the new acid grounds. I'm just, if space is infinite, we could the whole Earth is in space, right? And we don't crowd it. We're like this little dot in space. So if all of our garbage went out into space, it would just be, even if we did it for millennia, it would just be little dots but just the idea of it. I remember when I was like, I don't know, like 10, I had a bag. I went to CNS Deli. for those people in Island Park, the other Rhodes Deli. I think they owned it at the time. I went to CNS Deli. I bought a ham and Swiss Hero, lettuce, tomato, and mayo. Now I take it with mustard. And whatever, a bottle of ginger ale. And when I was done, I took it all in the bag and I threw it into the canal behind my house. Oh my God. But before my dad punished me, he was like, look at that. He's just like, just look at it. Before you, before I dress you down on the stupidity of that kind of littering, just look at it. And I remember looking at it with like this total shame. Like I got it. So the idea of Elon Musk blasting garbage off into space for sure seems horrifying, right? But it's space, right? You don't run out of space. I mean, you do in a 5-story walk up in the East Village. I can attest to that, but you don't run out of space in space. Hence the infiniteness of it. So I don't know. Is that a solution? I don't know. I mean, I'm asking. Everybody's gone silent on me. Space will become the new acid ground. I don't even know what that means, but space is space. Now, this is the thing that Geth and I've been pondering this question a lot. Geth and I were talking about the fact that as you double the distance from something in space, gravity doesn't get halved. It gets quartered. So math changes, dudes. What happens way, way out in space? What do we not know? Like, does mathematical and physical reality change over distances? You know? I don't know. Garbage in space. Was there a movie, Garbage in Space? What else is going on? Oh, you know what? Since it's my birthday, I think I'm going to share this with y'all. I think this was pretty fun. I don't think I'll get canceled with this. This is just funny. Hang on. Share screen. Here we go. Ready? Let's see if this works. Oh, do I have to start her up? Okay, here we go.
I don't know if you guys know this fun fact about Pride Month, but if you have a birthday in June, you're automatically gay because your parents fucked in Halloween costumes.
Oh, that was pretty good, right? Considering I'm born in June, right? So, yeah, so, that's another thing too. Am I allowed to, so Tim Dillon, I don't know how many of you all know Tim Dillon, the comedian, but he has a podcast on Saturday mornings. And he's from Island Park, actually. My brother-in-law works with his dad. I mean, this guy's huge. I mean, this guy's on Rogan and stuff, but he's gay. Why is it that when you're gay, whenever you're part of a minority group, a protected class, you can get away with criticizing everybody? So if I were just gay, I could say whatever I want about everybody. I don't think you can pull up the N-word. I think you get a beating for that. But according to Cat Williams, if we would just pay, he's like, if you guys pay reparations, you guys can just use the N-word all day. Cat's pretty funny. But why is that, right? Like, why? Like, I don't mind that I'm straight. I don't mind that I'm white. I don't mind that I'm a male. But all three, it's becoming a liability, as a guy who wants to tell funny jokes, And then even the thing with having Asian kids, I get in trouble a lot because I just say things that are matter of fact. And I say them like I was in a hot tub in I wasn't even in San Diego. I was in San Diego. Yeah. And I was in a hot tub with a bunch of people. And I started telling a story about something a Korean woman said to me. And I was doing the accent. And my friend was looking at me like, dude. And I'm like, what? And he's like, and there was a Korean guy like right behind me. I'm like, I know. I didn't think it was a big deal. And all of a sudden, everybody's looking at me like I'm weird. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go turn the bubbles back on. So, yeah, somebody just said, I say whatever I want about anybody anyway, and I'm not gay. Yeah, I also have survived in New York City in the music industry for a couple of decades. And there are people who, I'm just telling you all, I have people who stopped talking to me Um, not because I support Trump. They made that up. Nobody knows who I support. I support Eric Miranda. I support my kids. Sheila and I support my kids. Like, we're a family. That's my part. I run that government. I co-run that government with wifey, right? Like, that's for real. Everything else, like wifey and I disagree on a lot of things political, but we have more in common that we're protecting than we have. So people have gotten rid of me, Tom, as a friend, because I won't verbally attack Trump. Like, you're not allowed to stay neutral. I think that was a Castro thing. If you see something, say something. Or what did Paul, that asshole McCartney, by the way, you Beatle fans, fuck you. Paul McCartney sucks, first of all. And I know Tom Galvin, was just on my side a second ago, hates my guts now because he venerates the Beatles. Paul McCartney's a dick. Okay. He's a dick. He's not even Paul McCartney. He's Billy Shears. I mean, there's literally video of people walking up and saying, "Hello, Billy." They killed Paul. The real Paul was cool. He's gone. He's been gone for decades. I think I just waltzed my way into flat earth, everyone. I don't believe what I'm saying about Billy Shears. But what I'm saying about Paul McCartney, first of all, there's a video of him, a picture on Instagram of him getting a needle in his arm, and it says, "Be cool, get vaxxed." It's like, bro, you're 80. Be cool, get vaxxed was the most pathetic thing. But what he said that was scary is during the George Floyd riots, he said, silence is violence. Now, that sounds like compassionate in a way, right? I mean, anybody who saw that video and don't buy into whatever the rest of the narrative is, to see a man die with someone's knee on his neck is horrifying. Anybody who thought that was fun to watch or cool or was happy to see that or wanted to jump to anyone's defense, you got to just chill out for a second. I never get off on these people dying on video. My God, some woman, I was reading the paper the other day, some woman, 22 years old, I think in Indonesia or India or something, she's on a treadmill and there's a video of it. And like an idiot, I watched it. She's on one of the later treadmills in this thing. It's kind of a crowded gym. She gets off the treadmill. She falls backward, falls out a fucking window. And you see her like gone. 5 stories, 3 stories, dead. You're on the treadmill 1 second and you're dead the next. That's like terrible. And people, you see the comments, "Oh, stupid, fucking, say, man, I smoke 2 packs a day. This fucking idiot falls off the treadmill and dies. How's that health? How's that fitness working out for you?" That's terrible. But to say silence is violence means I'm going to say something, and whatever my narrative is, you shouldn't question it. Right? In that book, the Amanda Montell thing, she talks again, I mentioned this, the thought-limiting cliches, right? Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. So if I want to ask you a question about the moon landing or the World Trade Center attacks, by the way, you remember when most people in the country or half the country wanted to know what happened in the World Trade Center attacks? Remember the 9/11 Commission to find out, why Dick Cheney took control of NORAD like a month before the World Trade Center attacks? Do you remember people wanting to know why all the F-16s from Andrews Air Force Base were 800 miles south of like training missions under the direction of Dick Cheney? You remember all that? Remember when people wanted to know why George Bush's cousin took over the Port Authority in like August of 2001? Hey, man, I'm a rancher with lots of money. I think I'm going to go sit in a filthy basement and run the World Trade Center. Like, seriously, do you remember when people were asking those questions? Now, I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know when life begins. I don't know anything. But I do know that asking questions should be okay. And when you limit what I say by saying you're a conspiracy theorist, that makes me actually want to double down on the conspiracy, because what you're saying. So when Paul McCartney, oh, you worm, they always kill the wrong guy, right? Like Waylon Jennings leaving the We Are the World session because they were singing in Swahili. That dude switched seats. Thanks, Jack. Thank you. That Waylon Jennings switched seats with Buddy Holly. Buddy Holly died, and God let Waylon Jennings live so he could walk out of the We Are the World sessions, because Stevie Wonder wanted to sing the song in Swahili, which, for the record, people in Ethiopia don't speak. But what I'm saying is they always kill the wrong guy. John Lennon gets shot instead of Paul McCartney. So he said silence is violence. And look, again, so I'm trying to make the point that I'm not saying anything about what happened with George Floyd, right or wrong. I couldn't watch the video. I saw like 3 seconds of it, turned it off. I don't want to know about that stuff. And not that I don't want to watch violence, and I don't care how it happened. I don't care who it was. When people die unnecessarily, it's horrible. Now, I know I see it. My comments are blowing up. He was a fucking stage actor, whatever. Like I'm saying, I'm not saying that discussion shouldn't be had. Not saying I agree with it, but I don't like seeing bad things happen. But when you say to me, silence is violence, you're telling me I'm about to give you an official narrative. That's what this show should have been called. Eric, Miranda, and the official narrative. The official narrative is, my father used to say, Eric, if you see an expert, run. And now when I call T-Mobile, hi, Eric, I'm so-and-so, your T-Mobile expert. How can I help you? I'm like, you're an expert? My dad told me to run. When people call me an expert, oh, Eric's an expert at this. Like, oh, Eric, put a guitar solo. Eric's an expert. I'm not an expert. Oh, can you imagine being an expert? Is anybody on here an expert? So somebody just wrote, John Lennon smacked women around. I don't know what to say. See, there's always, I can't even like the Better Beatle. And now if I don't say, oh, that's terrible, like I'm going to get canceled. Did he really? I know that Stu Sutcliffe, the original bass player who quit the Beatles, when he married Astrud, he was a painter, but I know that they say that he died of an aneurysm that was a consequence of getting beaten up in a bar where John Lennon started a fight. And apparently John Lennon apparently attacked Bob Woolard. There was a DJ who made a comment about John Lennon and Brian Epstein being lovers. And Lennon beat the guy with a shovel. I mean, this guy said give peace a chance because he was violent. I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't, but I'm just saying musically. And by the way, I don't know, guys, I don't know if you know this, but there was a book that came out a couple of years ago. And guys, I always think I look good. And then I take the sunglasses off and it's like, I'm just blind. According to one of John Lennon's valets, he was planning on voting for Ronald Reagan. And he lamented, I worked hard for that Rolls Royce. Why did I give it away? He just kind of had like this kind of like conservative epiphany. It doesn't surprise me because he was, for those of you who don't know, John Lennon, when he wanted his citizenship in the United States, his citizenry letter of recommendation was written by Bill Buckley, William F. Buckley, the conservative libertarian-esque writer and, and thinker. So John Lennon was definitely like, he was my kind of liberal. How's that? He definitely had, like, he was liberal. Like, remember when liberals were the ones protecting your right to say things? Remember when like the right wing were going after all the tea? You cussed, you said something mean, you made fun of someone's dad, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and so they were coming at you from like this purist thing. And then now the left comes, my camera's backward. I don't know what's going on, but this is my left hand. So the left are coming at you from this like sensitivity thing, and the right were coming after you at this like moral thing. And it's like, you're limiting. And then good liberals, real liberals were like, wait a minute, I thought political speech was protected. I thought, the First Amendment protected that. So it doesn't surprise me that John Lennon, like, I believe it when his valet said he was planning on voting for Reagan. I don't find that hard to believe just based on his associations and you know, like if you listen to the song Revolution, that was kind of like a super, like people say he's a communist because of Imagine. Imagine is a beautiful song. I mean, I don't like the no heaven thing because I like the idea of heaven. I don't know, I believe in pearly gates and stuff, but I like the idea of heaven. But people call him a communist. It's like, go listen to the song Revolution. If you go carrying pictures of Chairman Mao, you ain't going to make it with anyone anyhow. I mean, that doesn't sound so communist to me. You know, you say you want to change the Constitution. We all want to change your head. You better free your mind instead. Lennon rocked. McCartney, be cool, get vexed. Moron. I hate that guy. I hate him. I mean, like, you guys can say what you want. Like, I love this. And then, by the way, that guy, Rick Beto, I like him. But somebody says, this guy's a genius. And listen to what he said. He explains why music's getting worse. Music's getting worse because you have white hair. You're old. Your audience is old people like me. Your client, the people coming on your show are Brian May and Nuno people. We're all going to die soon. Of course, music's getting worse because we don't want to die. Music's getting worse because we don't want to die. Do you understand that? If you listen to Juice WRLD and Travis Scott, and if you listen to Morgan Wallen, and if you listen to Zach, we went to see Zach Bryan in concert. Music's getting worse. This stuff is bang on. So if music is getting worse in your opinion, it's because you're old and you don't want to die. That's it. Stay on my show, bud. Or come on the show. Don't be the guy in the background. Come on, come here. Who are you talking to?
I didn't even say anything.
What was that? Is that your iPad? These kids don't even know to get off their devices during my show. So if you think music's getting worse, you don't want to die. Does that make sense? I mean, look, guys, when I hear Queen, I hear the opening to You're My Best Friend, just that, and I'm like, oh my God, those toms are amazing, right? It brings me back to 5th grade. Lee Forciato brought Night at the Opera into, dude, what is that? Who's talking? Dude, is it your iPad? It's not in my head. It's in my headphones. Anyway, so Lee Versiato brought Night at the Opera into 5th grade, into Mr. Bond's class. And I remember going home and saying to my dad, Dad, I have to get this record. And he said, why? And I said, the harmonies. He said, well, the Beatles have harmonies. And I'm like, and I said that, and I couldn't explain hearing Bohemian Rhapsody. I couldn't explain it to my dad. I remember being without words. Go in the other room, please. Like, I'm serious, dude. You're distracting me. You can't do this. Sorry, guys. I should have put him in a cage. Now I'm going to get canceled by the social services. Is that who's going to come get me? I got a black belt in social services. Take my word for it. I beat my kids and I'm proud. Just totally kidding. Anyway, so when I went, the people who click off when I say these things, it's like, grow up, man. We're just being funny. So when I heard Bohemian Rhapsody for the first time, I was at a loss for words. Now, he talks a lot. I'm rarely at a loss for words. I couldn't convey to my dad because I was like actually shocked when I heard this song. When I heard I See a Little Silhouette, I couldn't tell my dad what I heard, but I was just like, oh my God, what was that? And then I got the record. So of course, when I hear Queen, that's it. It transports me through time and space. But I'm going to tell you, I saw Queen in 2019 with the wife at Central Park with Adam Lambert, and he was amazing, and Queen were amazing, and Roger Taylor, wow, that voice, and Brian comes out. He came out of the stage just in some spacesuit, and it's so amazing. For those of you who know how to play Bohemian Rhapsody from soup to nuts, it's crazy. It's crazy. What's up, Jack? What is up? Man, I got Jack Straw saying happy birthday. I'm talking about Brian May, and then Jack Settner comes on with his Brian May guitar. You see that? So Brian comes out of the stage on at this concert dressed in a spacesuit. And for those of you who know how to play Bohemian Rhapsody, not just the lead, but the whole song, the and that like that whole at the end, oh yeah, oh, it's crazy. Brian forgets it. And it was so charming. What was endearing. Hey, Rosie, thank you. Brian May forgets the part or just misses it. And he's dressed like Ziggy Stardust. He comes out of this tube in the stage and he goes, and he just looks at his guitar like completely like he didn't fight it. He didn't try to recover. He didn't look scared or stupid. He just kind of looked at his guitar like, and everybody went wild. It was so great to see this master just completely get lost. But I'm going to tell you right now, as good as that concert was, and as great as Adam Lambert is, Freddie can't be replaced, but Adam Lambert's really great, guys. Really a great singer. More like Axl Rose. He and Roger Taylor sound more alike, the drummer. He's got like a real, like Freddie had that big, loud bell. Adam Lambert he's like a rock singer. He's got an Axl Rose thing. He's got that burning, like compressed high thing. I saw them and I loved them, but I saw Zach Bryan a few months ago and was just blown. Like, in other words, there was nothing exciting about Queen now compared to Zach Bryan now. And all I'm saying is, if you think music's getting worse, Rick Beato, I'm going to have to start doing a music YouTube thing too, just because I'm tired of, not him in particular. I like him. And I like the fact that he has Nuno on and Nuno talks about Brian May. I love it. But when you start telling me that music's getting worse, it's like, dude, you don't want to deal with your mortality. You're fat. Like, the guy's not in great shape. He's not fat, but like, go, don't smoke, go for a walk every day and live as long as you can, and don't get hit by a car, whatever. My point is that guy doesn't want to die, and new music reminds him that he's dying. People our age are generally like, I'm going to be counting down to my 60th birthday, which is 1 year from today. And I'm counting down because I want to show my friends and family and people that you can still do things. I go to jujitsu with guys who are 30. They pull my arm out. They break my finger. And they're like, dude, I can't believe you're doing this at 59. What are you doing this for? And I'm like, because my friends are planning to die. They hate new music because they're dying. Right? Do you realize, like, can you imagine like a mass shooting, but the mass shooting would be like somebody kills all these new artists because they don't want to die? It's like, when you hear new music, like I had a guy in my building say, fucking asshole, talking about like, going to projects and drugs and guns. It's like, dude, that's his life. He didn't go to tennis camp. He didn't grow up in Riverdale. Brian Feinberg. Like, no offense, that wasn't like a disparaging comment, but that's really his name. It's like, come on, dude. Like, why would Travis Scott, who grew up in the projects in Texas, or Juice WRLD, who grew up in Chicago in the projects. I don't know much about Travis Scott, but Juice WRLD grew up with nothing. Single mom. She was a churchgoer. He OD'd at 21 years old. The guy's brilliant. He's got 3 records, 1 posthumously. He's amazing. Watch the documentary on him on Netflix, Juice WRLD. Benny Blanco, who's a genius, said, we do 3 takes on these songs so we can comp a hit together. And he said Juice WRLD would finish and we'd be like, which hit do we use? Guy was genius. If you don't like, you don't have to like Juice WRLD. Let me rephrase that. If you think music's getting worse when you listen to Juice WRLD, you don't want to die. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just like, guys, I was born in 1965. Like, people think about like, when they think of the Vietnam War, they think of some like my kids, like the Vietnam War is something that happened like during World War II. You know what I mean? Like, it's older to them than we realize, right? I was alive for that. I remember my sister Elizabeth talking about her friends being drafted and going to Vietnam. I don't really remember that, but I know it happened during my life. I just lied to your I just lied to your camera. I just lied to your screen. I looked you right in the screen and lied to you. David X's song Rock On. Hey, kids, rock and roll, rock on. James Dean. Is that the one? See her shake on the movie screen. Prettiest girl I ever seen. Rock on. Yeah, what a great song. You know what song I listened to the other day? Do you guys remember the Turtle song? I said, she's my girl, and that's where it was last night. By the way, I did this show for you. All right, so let's talk about next week. So in 3 weeks, I'm eating a whole Sicilian pie, probably 12 slices. If you all, David Essex, yeah, man. If you all, how the hell did all the kids we grew up with get so freaking, yeah, but exactly. Somebody just said how the kids we grew up with get so old, but we're old. And I don't mind being old because I have a filter. You guys want to see me get really young? Ready? People say we're not getting any younger. Hang on. Watch this. I'm getting younger. Ooh, wait. I just turned into a fucking lizard. What was that? Oh my goodness. I'm never doing that again. I keep it on 1. You guys want to see me without the touch-up? This is my actual face. See? Got a little bit of... Did I just lose all my fans now for like taking the filter off? Oh, look at this vein. Ew. Come on. I look good. So anyway, so let's wrap this up. So in the cultish language book, we use language to limit other people's thinking, these thought limiting cliches, but we also use it to limit our own thinking. I wake up every day excited to wake up. I write in my journal. I conceive ideas and then I execute on those ideas. Is it making me rich? No. Is it making me happy? Yes. I try to stay as fit as I can. I got really out of shape after my kids were born. I kind of let myself go, battled back. But by the way, guys, I remember doing an affirmation every morning, telling the universe, God, in my case, it's God, but I know people get offended. Yeah. God. Saying, God, I am a lean 170 healthy pounds, right? That was my affirmation because I didn't believe, I'm currently 165. In 2 weeks before I eat the pizza, I'm going to be 162. That's my goal, to get down to 162 before I eat 4,800 calories in one sitting. But I am going to, I'm just going to suggest that if there's something you want to accomplish in your life, the way a cult, you want to belong to. Here's a question for you. Everybody wants to belong to something. That's how the cult thing works. You want to belong so bad that you're willing to suspend your. Who do you think have more wheat gluten allergies? Bernie bros or Trump supporters? Right? I know you're all laughing. You're laughing because, yeah, I put that little bit of touch up back on. Oh, yeah, I look good now. I like that. You're laughing because how come people who like Bernie Sanders have wheat gluten allergies more than people who like Donald Trump? They don't. They want to belong to a group. Whose condo association takes their flag down more often? Trump's. You get my point. I got to think of one for the Trump supporters, but I'm sure there's like, I can't eat pasta. I got to eat meat. Like they always have some, Trump supporters always have some disease where if they don't eat lots of red meat with steroids in it, they're going to die or something, right? I'll come up with one for that. It's because we want to belong to things, but the language they use to make you want to belong to something, we use that language for and against ourselves. So if you have something you want to accomplish and you don't believe it's accomplishable because you're telling yourself the negative message, this is simple auto-suggestion. Just tell yourself something different. The language the government uses to manipulate us and the language cults use to manipulate their followers. I'm in the cult of Eric. I am the leader. I'm the enforcer. I'm the skeptic. I'm the guy who escaped. I'm the guy who's going to kill the guy who escaped. I'm all of them. The language I use to the language that the system uses to manipulate us, we use to manipulate ourselves. So check your language, get it positive, use it to manipulate yourself for the better. The debate's going to start F the debate and F Paul McCartney. I love you guys. Like new music so you can hide the fact that you don't want to die. Amen.